Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition, another season of
Mm,
BC Buckets. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Colin, it's been about 11 months
yes.
since the 2022 NBA draft. We're now in 2023, May. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to our channel, who has stayed with us through the past 11 months. We did tell y'all at the end of the draft, we said we'll see y'all next year. We were not lying.
Yeah.
We saw y'all next year. But now it is May 12th. The NBA draft is on June 22nd, correct, Colin?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, sure, we'll go with that. Um, but the draft lottery, Colin, is May 16th, and we've never done anything for the lottery before. But we've also never had both of our teams in the lottery before. For those who don't know,
That's
I
very
am a
true.
San Antonio Spurs fan, as you can see on the screen. And Colin is a Detroit Pistons fan. He's from Michigan, from Detroit. Hold it down. So we had to hold down for our home teams. And we've also never had a prospect like Victor Wembanyama in the draft.
Also
And
very
so
true.
a lot of things going into this draft and a lot of things that are going to have us interested in Tuesday night's draft lottery. So I think it's only right that we do a draft lottery preview show.
Mm.
That's how excited I am, Colin. Are you excited?
I'm almost terrified because I feel like Detroit got really lucky with the first pick 2 years ago, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure that's going to happen again. So, and it's different when there's a Wemby. Like if there wasn't a
Mhm.
Wemby, I wouldn't care. But when you got a potential like transcendent player, you'd be upset to miss out on that.
So so we want to do a few things here. We're not going to keep it too long, but the first thing we want to do is go through the odds of all the teams. That way everybody understands what we're looking for and what we're looking at. So I'll pull it up on the screen now. Here are the odds. I don't think I can make it any bigger. Let's see. No, that just removes us. Okay. But I can zoom in on here. So we'll do that.
There you go.
All right. So if we go through it, a few years back, the NBA reduced the odds of the top team or the worst teams getting the number one pick. It went from 25% down to 14%. A very drastic change, in my opinion, unnecessary, unwarranted, all that stuff. Um, but the Pistons, congratulations to Colin, worst record in the NBA. But as you'll notice here, for maybe those who don't know, the top three all have the same odds of getting a 1 through 4 pick. So it's 14% for the first pick, 13.4 second, 12.7 for third, and 12 for fourth. After that, it's is the only difference. The Pistons can't drop below 5, Rockets 6, and Spurs 7. So that's the only difference here. The top four are all the same for the top three for the bottom three teams. Pistons, Rockets, Spurs all have the best odds. And then after that, you go to the Hornets, 12.5% odds first pick, Blazers 10.5%, Magic 9, so on and so forth as you see on the screen. And obviously these numbers over here, the blank spots are where they can't get. So for those who don't, last thing I'll say is when they do the lottery, they're only picking the ping pong balls of the top four picks. Everything else falls in order. So if somebody jumps to one, it basically just drops the four down to five, five down to six, and so on and so forth. So there's the what you need to know about the odds. Now, Colin, we know about Victor Wembanyama. We know
Yes.
about Scoot Henderson. We know about Brandon Miller. I think those are the top three teams. We'll stay on Tankathon for now and scroll through this. We know about these three players, right? These are the three that everybody considers the top three. When you look at those three, what are your thoughts on the top end of this draft?
My original thoughts are first that Wemby is in a tier of his own. So I wouldn't even put, oh, there you go. Yeah, see. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put Scooter Brandon Miller with Wemby. Wemby is clearly far and above number one, no matter what. Nobody's taking that from him, obviously. And that leaves you with the two other players. Scoot Henderson, who's a point guard, 6'2", isn't that great from three, but can do pretty much everything else and is basically a highlight reel. And then you got Brandon Miller. Obviously, we saw how good he was at Alabama. So you got three completely different players in terms of what they do, position, and everything. And I think that that's good for these top three teams. It's just a matter of it. I feel like every team in this top three, I guess, just these top three teams, if they don't get Wemby, you're going to be disappointed in a way. And though it's hard to say because Scoot and Brandon are really good players,
Mhm.
but I feel like if you don't get one here, it's almost like a Wemby or bust in terms of the ceiling he adds to your team.
I agree. I mean, we're watching the thing that has become increasingly clear as you watch NBA basketball, and if you just go through the history of the NBA, is who wins championships. It's the best players in the league, right? Steph Curry, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, players like that are winning these championships. And so, if you want to be a championship team, you have to get a generational player,
Yeah.
one way or the other. And we've even seen Ja Morant, who I think is a great player, or we've seen a Trey Young, who we think is a great player. They're not even enough to
Yeah.
get you over the top. Like, yeah,
I mean,
sure, there
shoot,
are,
Jason Tatum this year.
yeah,
He's
Jason
time and time
Tatum's
again.
struggling a little bit. Like, obviously, you have to build a team around them, but like, it makes life a lot easier when you have just one of the generational type of talents. And that's what everybody assumes Victor Wembanyama is this year, is a generational talent. So you have him. We'll obviously have plenty of content over the next month about Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller, and the Thompson twins and all that. But Victor is the one that everybody's striving for here at 7'4", 7'5", and just obviously in a class of his own. So I want to do theoretical fits here. I want to talk about different fits for the different teams because if we just start here, we'll start at baseline. Everybody will pick Victor Wembanyama at the first pick.
Yeah.
Every single team.
Yeah.
There's not a single team, if you scroll through this, that would not be picking Victor Wembanyama. I don't even think they would trade out of it. I don't think anybody would trade out of that pick. Uh, no, there's nothing in this. Like, no, it's like if the Nuggets or something or the Sixers got the number one pick, then maybe, but like they're not obviously in this contention. So they're gonna take Victor. The second pick is interesting to me because we've heard a lot of Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller conversation go back and forth here. We've heard a lot of people maybe say Brandon Miller should be the second pick. Maybe he should pass Scoot Henderson, and then Scoot Henderson stays at 2 for a lot of people as well. Now with I think the Pistons specifically, and you can speak on this better than me, but the Pistons specifically, if they get the second pick, it doesn't feel like Scoot Henderson makes a ton of sense. And so when we look at fits for Scoot Henderson, I'm not looking at the Pistons as being like, oh, they need Scoot Henderson. Even the Hornets or the Blazers to a degree that have these all-star guards, the Hornets with LaMelo Ball, the
Yeah.
Blazers with Dame, I don't think they need Scoot. So is it like, do you think the second pick just comes down to fit in a sense?
I feel like it has to just because I feel like those two players are in terms of what you think of them as a ceiling, they're going to be the same in terms of how they'll affect your team. Obviously, you just brought up a good point with LaMelo and Charlotte. Who knows if Dame's going to do next year? But for the Pistons specifically, I mean, you already have Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham. You need a wing, and I feel like that's what they're going to go for, regardless of how good Scoot is on their board. Um, as you go further down, even I mean, say Orlando gets it, do they want to kind of relegate Paolo at that point forward position to no longer be that point forward? Or you can even go further down if like Dallas somehow gets goes
Yeah.
further up. It really just depends on any of that. Obviously, I'm reaching there, but for those top three teams, I feel like Detroit, you'd go Brandon Miller. Houston, I feel like you'd have to go Scoot just because they don't really have a point guard, and the Jalen Green experiment at point
They
guard
like
hasn't really been great.
yeah, they said they were shopping Jalen Green. Kevin
Yeah,
Porter is a good player, obviously, but it just feels like they have too many. I mean, they just drafted Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, Alperen
Ty
Şengün
Ty
at the 5.
Washington.
Yeah, I mean, Şengün at the 5. I feel like their front court's kind of set
Yeah.
to a degree with Şengün, Smith, and Eason. Um, I think they need guards. And Jalen Green, like we said, while he's a very, very, very good scorer, great scorer, borderline, they need, I think, that guard in Scoot Henderson to either be a compliment to Green or just usher in, to be the next. I'm going to compare Scoot to Ja Morant a lot over the next month.
Yeah.
It's not direct and it's not apples to apples. I think they're different in a lot of ways, but that's just what I'm going to do because I think that's the type of upside that he has, if not to be even better.
Hmm.
But I'm just saying, when you have that front court, if you compare that with a guy like Scoot Henderson, I think you're getting a guy you can instantly almost become what the Grizzlies are.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And then for San Antonio, you'd have better idea on that than me, but I feel like you'd want to go the Scoot Henderson route.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Scoot is well, especially with just took Jeremy Sohan. You have Devin Vassell. Those are the two, if you're the Spurs, that I think you look at the future and you're like, those are the two that we're the highest on, Vassell and so on. And a lot of people wouldn't throw Keldon Johnson there. I think Keldon Johnson is a good player. Um, so if you want to throw him in the mix, he's a wing as well, even though he's 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is.
Yeah.
Um, so you throw those three in there. I think they just need a guard. There was way too many Tyus Jones minutes. Just they need a dynamic guard. I think Scoot Henderson would obviously be the pick for the Spurs there. And if go lower, I think a lot of these teams will just be Scoot Henderson if they have him higher on their board over the next month. How surprised would you be if people started saying Brandon Miller should be taken before Scoot Henderson? I know we're not haven't done our scouting stuff yet, but just it feels to me that people are trying to talk themselves into Brandon Miller a bit.
Well, I feel like it's because they're not the same player, right? Like
Yeah.
teams that want to wing, they're going to go Brandon Miller. Teams that go want a point guard or a guard, they're going to want Scoot Henderson. And I don't know if that's necessarily because one player is better than the other. It's just if a fan of the Pistons is like, hey, I'd rather have Brandon Miller, that's just because that's the type of player they need. I'm interested with Wemby kind of being in a tier of his own. If a team like the Pistons, for example, who already kind of has their star in Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, if they wouldn't trade that second pick away.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is about the Pistons, not to make this into a Pistons show.
I mean, you could even say that for the Rockets too. I mean, they've drafted a lot of talent. They need the veteran stability.
The thing is, I don't know. I think the Pistons are actually might be in a better spot than the Rockets just because they do have Cade, who I think is better than and has a higher upside than anybody on the Rockets, including Jalen Green. Like the Pistons have their number one pick.
Yeah,
The Rockets
exactly.
don't really. The Rockets have Jalen Green and Jabari Smith and Şengün, who I think are all very good players. They don't have the generational type guy that's going to be all NBA for 8 years.
Right.
I just don't see that. So I don't think if you're the Rockets, you can pass up on taking Scoot Henderson if you have the opportunity, or even Brandon Miller if you have the opportunity, even though Brandon Miller is kind of repetitive with what they want to do or what they have, I should say. All right, moving forward to wrap this up, we look at the odds here. Just off the top of your head, where do you want Victor Wembanyama to go, other than the Pistons? Excluding the Pistons,
If I had to pick a
what would
fit,
be a really fun or interesting group for him to go to here?
I think the one I instantly go to is the Mavericks, just
Okay.
because they need a center, and there's not going to be another center until late first round or early second round. So there's that. But a sleeper for me, honestly, would be like the Pacers.
That's an interesting one.
I like the Pacers because they got Tyrese Halliburton, they got Benedict Mathurin. You put obviously Miles Turner has always been quote unquote on the way out. You get Wemby, hey, that's great to me.
I'll go. This whole group right here of the Hornets, Blazers, Magic could be fun for various reasons. Obviously, Hornets, you have LaMelo Ball.
Yeah,
You just Ball and Wembanyama, I'm watching. Blazers, same thing. You have Dame and Wembanyama, I'm watching. Magic, Paolo Banchero just won Rookie of the Year. Do I really want them to get back-to-back number one picks? No, but seem like they won 34 games last year. They seem like they're on the cusp of getting
something.
to
Yeah,
that breakthrough. So I think those three, probably the Hornets would probably be my pick in terms of most fun team to go to. But if the Blazers got him, I just think that'd be really, really fun because then there's so much pressure on them to win immediately. Like there's no
really
waiting.
would be.
You
There
have
really
Dame,
would be.
you have Victor, you got to go.
Old Dame too, no longer young Dame.
Exactly. So. Exactly. All right, let's do one. How do we do this again, Colin?
Go to the home. There you go.
Let's sim one lottery. All right.
All right, let's predict where the Spurs are going to land. We got to do predictions for you. Do Spurs, I'll do Pistons.
Spurs are going to land in the 2 spot.
We're going to get 5.
Okay.
I'm going to be sad about it, but we're going to get 5.
All right, we're going to do one sim, and we go from there.
3. 4. So who you taking? Who you taking at that 4 spot? You already lost out on Scoot and Brandon Miller.
Yeah, I'm taking Amin Thompson for sure. Thompson at the 4. We'll talk plenty about the Thompson twins in a bit, but I'm probably taking Amin Thompson That's probably the pick there. We'll see, but that's worst case scenario, I think, for this. Well, not true.
Six
Anything
is
outside
worst
of
case
2
scenario.
anything outside for the 2 is worst case
What's
for
crazy
sure.
is how good the odds are for you to miss top two.
Right.
Like that's what's actually crazy. Like you could click that 10 times, and I bet you the Spurs get top two, and the
I think
Pistons
it's
get top two twice.
27 point something percent that the Spurs get a top 2 pick.
Yeah,
I mean, for anybody of the top 3
yeah.
get a top 2 pick, so, but here, yeah, there you go. Charlotte gets the number 1 pick, Victor Wembanyama there.
Congrats.
Um, if you're Portland, I don't know
You go
exactly
Brandon
what to
Miller.
do here.
You have to go Brandon Miller if you're keeping Dame. If
Yeah,
you're
if you're
keeping
keeping
Dame,
Dame, you go Brandon Miller, I think. If not, you go Scoot, and then Detroit, I don't know what you do at 3.
take the other one
Take
or trade.
Yeah, or trade. Spurs, like I said, Thompson, Houston, probably the other Thompson, and kind of just go from there. But all right, I like that. That's actually reasonable. That's a reasonable one. I just don't like the ones personally. I don't like the ones where the bottom 4 teams
That
jump up
makes me
into
it
the
makes
top
me
4.
angry when you got like Dallas one,
Yeah, I'm like,
Washington one.
no,
Yeah,
Dallas and sorry all y'all, Chicago or Oklahoma City, Toronto. No, y'all can't get it. Sorry, but all right, that ends the first episode of BC Buckets. There's the preview episode. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me go back to our main screen here. Um, Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. We'll be back after. Well, we're actually probably gonna do a live reaction and then just post it right after
yeah.
of the draft lottery, which is on Tuesday. So we will have an episode up Tuesday night reacting to the lottery. One of us probably will be crying. The other one will
I have a
be
feeling that
happy.
both of us are gonna be crying. Like
The thing is,
that's what I'm terrified of.
here's the last thing, Colin. The Pistons have had enough time in the lottery. Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously I'd be upset if we didn't get one, but I'm not tripping. You know, like you said, we already got our number one, Kate. Like I'm perfectly fine if they get 2, 3, 4, whatever. Just trade it away, get a really good player, call it a day. Hope you make the playoffs next year, and if you can't, then you did bad team building at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So means a lot more to me. Well, I've never been here before.
please,
I've
please,
never been
NBA
here before.
champion, like 19 billion times in the last.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I've never been here before. Okay. I gotta
Well,
light the
maybe you need to
candles.
stay in it for how
No.
long were we in it for?
No.
15 years, 13 years. I think you should just stay in
Y'all
that
made the playoffs a
purgatory.
couple years in that span.
Yeah, but we won one game.
But, it is what it is. Um, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll be back Tuesday night to get all that up. We will see. ESPN. I don't remember what time it's at. 7:30, 6:30, something around that time.
Um, NBA draft. It's going to be at
The lottery.
yeah. NBA draft lottery will be held Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7
Yeah.
p.m. Central time.
All right, we'll get it up right after that. Again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for hanging in there with us. We will have plenty of content. I think we're planning 20 plus pieces of content over the next month and a half. So every
And then
other day, pretty
and then we'll
much.
go dark for a year.
And then we'll go dark for you again. So stick with us. Send it to a friend. Let us know what you think below. Who do you want to win the NBA lottery? What team would win Wembanyama be the most interesting to you? And yeah, you can follow us on Twitter right there at BC Buckets. That's where we will be posting all our clips and everything. Until Tuesday, have a good weekend, and we'll see y'all later.